Just being asked to bring through something from Jeshua for the first time in quite a while. I will say the prayer and then he'll begin. Indeed, beloved friends, I come forth to share with you certain information in a timely fashion as it relates to the specific unfoldment occurring in your world at this time, and the efforts by those of us in what is called the unseen realms to continually engage with you in ways that might help you direct your actions, your thoughts, your perceptions in the most graceful way to ride the waves of light that are entering your world, the activation, the upflushing of the darkness as the light enters, yes? And this is a concept that has been shared with you already. Well, do you know that when you put on a light in a dark room, that all the things that perhaps were living in the corners, feeling safe because the darkness protected them, now come to the light of truth, and there needs to be reconciliation. The measure of reconciliation that I have offered you in the teachings of what is called the Way of Mastery, A Course in Miracles, and other sources, the measure by which you might consider all things, the sword of truth, as it were, is what is called in the pathway of the Way of Mastery, the Way of the Heart, is what is the first axiom, also shared in the teachings given through the scribe, through Helen, yes, in the Course in Miracles. Nothing can come to the Son of God, the child of God, that is not chosen, the daughter of God, not chosen by that one, and comes only at their request. Therefore, as you seek to reconcile your relationship with what might be the dark things in the corners of your room, now that the light has been turned on, and they will create some disturbance, yes, once you become aware and present to what is arising, the emotional state, you might ask this question, where am I in opposition to what is arising in my life? Where do I believe that I would prefer something else be arising? For this perception could be described as the dream of separation itself. Because what are you doing in this perception but denying the central teaching that has been given, the first axiom? I, and I alone, am the creator of my experience. Therefore, if you are having a particular experience, even of what is the raindrops, or someone giving you what is called the finger, or anything occurring in your world, yes? It is not a conditional statement. I and I alone am creating my experience. We are speaking to your cosmic being, which is what you are, and that you have the capacity to create entire worlds based on what you choose to put your attention on, and everything arising within that world. This is the revelation that we would again emphasize for you. Do you understand? Once upon a time there are those who believed the world was flat, yes? And now we know it, you know it to be round. In the same way, there has then been the belief that somehow something other than the first axiom could occur, but gradually there is the stepping into the acceptance of and the taking on responsibility for the fact that it has always been true. There is no illusory world, just the perception that somehow what is happening is not what I desire. But Jeshua, what of the hot temperatures now? Yes? Well, beloved friend, you might ask the question, how is this what I truly want? Oh, yes, but it means that so-and-so should be doing something different. And then, beloved friend, you tie yourself in knots in your willingness to deny the central teaching. But, Jeshua, it is blasphemous to say this. Of course there are beings who are doing something wrong. That would be an interesting occurrence in an otherwise perfect universe. For how can it be, if you and you alone are creating your experience, that anyone is doing anything wrong? Because by definition, they cannot affect that experience. Now, the ego is created consciously by the part of you that is Christ to generate experience. What experience? The experience of imagining and therefore experiencing what it would be like to not be the one in charge of your experience. Because this was the intention, there is great allegiance by that which you have put in charge of yourself, ego, to defend and protect and maintain the dream that you have given it authority to protect. Therefore, in a sense, you are acting against the dictates that you once created, untying the knots of what you once created, and we would say in error. But, beloved friend, that is a learning device, that term, yes? It cannot be in error. There can only be the will of God, the will of the child, which is one. Denial of this, or even, listen carefully please, the belief that there is the potentiality for something else. The potentiality, oh beloved friend, but what if, Jeshua, what if I'm guilty? Oh beloved, what if that one should be doing something else? But what if the planet, it's going to melt, it looks like? Beloved friends, all of these are given you for your perfect remembrance. And indeed, as ego digs a trench in its war to keep out the truth, you might focus your attention on embracing ego, seeing what it has been doing in your name, and gradually deciding, do I want to continue to give the authority of my creative power to this, what you call vermin? It is not an insult. It is meant to be a description of a lower form of life, if you will, in the biological structuring and so on. Not an elevated cosmic Christ, but a vermin, yes? And you have the freedom to filter your experience through the perceptual apparatus of vermin, and therefore take on its characteristics, and to have an experience which is unique, and something unique is learned from that experience, an investigation in the potentialities of creative experience. But, beloved friend, you might be deciding at some point, and God says yes either way, full-heartedly, you might be deciding, it might be coming to your point where you're saying, I am done with this. I have seen this movie 8 times. I am fascinated by this movie, but I have seen it 8 times. It is enough. 8 is enough. Beloved friends, there has never been a battle in truth between what is happening and what you want to happen. Only the belief that they can be separate. That might ruffle a few feathers. But if you seek now to find the answer to the world situation, yes, including your climate, understand that love is the only answer that will work. Now, there are 2 ways to look at this, at least, but 2 are that, well, love is being projected. I am creating this world as an image and reflection of my consciousness. That is what we are telling you is happening, yes? But do not worry about believing that. Let us just look at what might be considered by some to be a more practical way of looking at it, and to say, well, there are many countries in the world. There are many people with different perspectives and agendas. There are even wars. But if you are going to fix the climate, you are going to need to work together. Because if the great countries with the billion people do not put in the what you call the fuel standards, yes, to change the flow, you will see that there is no point in anyone else trying, because it will not succeed to reverse what you call your weather patterning and so on. The warming. The warming is what is occurring as the light is entering and the darkness is being flushed up, and souls are needing to look at their truths that they have avoided and are angrily projecting them in what could be called heat. When you learn that nothing is occurring except what you desire, the heat will cool. And in that calmness, in that stillness, you will be able to hear the Holy One and look back and see that what you have assumed about yourself, about this world, and about creation has not been correct. Holy perfection, even in what you call your dream, yes, your experience of a dream, holy perfection continues unabated. The only question, beloved friend, is, are you wanting to see that finally? To put the crown on the dream, to bow down before it and to say, thank you, I love you, goodbye, and may the benefits of this extraordinary experience stay with me always. With that, we complete this sharing. Amen.